And there we go.
Yes, we are.
We are live. We are here for another episode of Tuesday Night Dreaming.
Tuesday night
And
dreaming. You
Tuesday
could have
night,
dreams any night. You don't have
you
to just have
could.
one
It's true.
Tuesday
You could have dreams every night, any night, and it just so happens that Tuesday may be the night.
night. Tuesday's the
Um,
night we talk about them.
Tuesday, yeah, that's true. Tuesday is the night we talk about them. That's right. And so if you're just joining, welcome to Tuesday Night Dreaming. And if you're a regular on the show, why don't you go ahead and click the share button? Let
I'm
people
doing that right
know.
now.
Yeah, you're a regular, so there's not very many you've missed. You did have COVID for one or two, I think, and had to.
I did get the COVID.
Yeah, you did get the COVID. So there's not many of these episodes that we've missed though over the
Just had it
last
the
2
one
years.
time though
Yeah,
that I know of.
that's true. Yeah. So, I mean, you could have been having it for the last 20 years. Who knows?
I could have
Like
long
that's
COVID and not aware of it.
one of the mysteries of certain strains of COVID is that you have it, you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need to make light of those things.
No, because it's had a tremendous effect on
It has had a tremendous impact. Yeah, and we do know people that have suffered and some people that have passed away because of it.
I do.
So let's get off the COVID subject.
Yes,
so,
let's move on.
That's right. So if you're just tuning in, you click the share button. And if you're new to the show, the COVID. If you're new to the show, this is Welcome to Tuesday Night Dreaming. This is a show where we talk about the mysteries of the night season. Each one of us has various different phenomena that happen to us, whether we're asleep or awake. We see things, the things that go bump in the night, so to speak. And we have grand visitations, divine revelation, and sometimes terrifying experiences, and sometimes terrifyingly awesome experiences, and all manner of things in between the spectrum there. And so this is a show where we try and help you, the viewer, reason through what's happening to you and answer some of your questions, or at least give some thoughts based on the experiences. And part of our long-term goal is that we're not so much just kind of your source of interpretive input or answering those questions, but that each one of you that tunes in starts to come to grips with this is how God might speak to you. And so that's
really helpful.
So we talk about the principles of dream interpretation. We try and point to the process that we're going through as we interpret it. We don't get everything right. There's no possible way that we could get everything right. And
well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Before you ask me a question,
I'll ask you
one. Why would you say, if someone was just listening, and I know what my answer would be, but why would you say that God speaks to you in dreams?
Why would I say it personally?
What would be? Because some people have dreams and they don't think that it's God necessarily. Maybe it's just their pizza or something. And
Well, I would say my personal answer is I would say because He has spoken to me, and there have been some profound realizations. I look at something like when we consult the scriptures. And we look at how it talks about Joseph, the father of Jesus, right? Or stepdad of Jesus, I guess. Where it says that he was warned in a dream not to do this, or he was led by an angel in a dream to do this. Moving his family around. I'm like, I can totally resonate with that at this point in my life. Is that there's been multiple moments in my life where the Lord has spoken to me through dreams. And even beyond that, my spiritual journey into union with Christ, the great catalyst for launching me on that journey was a series of dreams I had. And the first dream was my dad, who is right there, was preaching in the dream. And I was watching him preach, and I was getting increasingly angry. And that's always like my dad trying to tell me how to live my life. He'll never just leave me alone, And I don't think that was true at all. Not for that I wouldn't listen to you And
How many
anyway,
how many years did you come to my office angry at me?
too many for you probably need some healing from that, some traumatic moments with your son. So I had dreams that were absolutely integral to my marriage. I mean, I had dreams about my kids before I had my kids. So I would say, why would I personally say that God speaks in dreams?
Mhm.
On a personal level, I would say because he's spoken to me, and I can be completely sure of that. It's the same reason why I would say God exists, because he's come to me. It's the same reason I'd say God speaks today, because he's spoken to me. It's the same reason I'd say prophetic ministry exists today, because I've had prophetic words that have been profoundly insightful in my life, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't that case. Now we can go why I think on a fundamental physiological level why I would say God speaks,
No, I'm just
and
wondering. Yeah,
um,
that's. I mean, I
and
like your primary approach is this is my experience in
it's
life.
my experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Well, I
mean,
mean, you read anything that it comes
but I know
to.
you, and I know that's not the only reason you do that. But it's interesting because you you've expressed a primary reason,
Yeah,
and the other reasons through history, through study of different people who dreamed
sure.
over the course of time, and things that have happened, um, and just looking at the way that humans work with humans. I know that all of those things play in,
Right.
as well as looking at uh, the Hebrew and Christian scriptures
Yeah,
has had
yeah.
a profound
That's right.
effect on you. Yeah,
Yeah, all of those have. Yeah, absolutely. And even, like, I both of us love history and seeing
yeah.
the role, like, even going as far back, like, this is just, I think we've actually brought this up before, but just random facts. Maybe we should retitle the Tuesday Night Dreaming Show to Random Facts with Josh and Ken.
Yes,
Yeah,
occasional
yeah.
random
Yeah,
facts and dream
yeah,
discussions.
yeah.
So yeah,
Occasional random facts and occasional dream discussions.
yeah,
Yeah. Is the Agamemnon, going way far back,
we are going
right?
back.
At the Battle of Troy, his
Yeah,
catalyst for waging war was a dream,
yes.
right? And for a long time, it was thought that was kind of a, uh, did Troy actually happen, or uh, was it just kind of a.
No, they've found the
Oh,
city of
yeah,
Troy. Yeah,
exactly. My point
yeah.
was, for a long time it was kind of debated whether this was actually a historical
Yeah, right.
narrative,
Because they'd never
right?
seen that couldn't
Because
find
they
Troy.
never
Yeah,
found Troy, but they
right.
have found Troy now. They found complete evidence that this is a historical narrative.
Well over
So
100 years ago, right?
yeah, exactly, lends a lot of credence to the recounting of Agamemnon's dream, and Agamemnon being misguided in a dream as to what the outcome was going to be. So we can look back to ancient times, we can look at modern times, and we can see evidences of people being led by dreams. There's been a significant departure, of course, from the ancient world to today, and that's, um, if you want to still register for the Healing the Wounded Heart course series we did last weekend, the first session, we talked all about the shifting landscape of worldviews, and that's one of the things when we see that broader shift is that you would probably never find a leader today, political leader, right, like equivalent of a king, prime minister, president, or some places they are kings, who would publicly announce in front of his people, I had a dream and we're going to war because of it,
Yeah.
right? Like it just would not happen today, and it was not an uncommon. It was
Well, if
not
it
an
did, it
uncommon.
wouldn't go over very well. That's
It
for
wouldn't
sure.
go over very well, yeah. But that's a modern age that we live in. That's it doesn't mean that God's not, like there's an example in said 12th, 13th century Christian mystic named Hildegard of Bingen, a woman who was greatly respected, and she there's a number of times where princes, emperors, kings sent to her for advice specifically on how they should govern and run their country. And there's one letter I remember in particular where I think it's an emperor or something, asks her for advice on a particular war, and Hildegard basically just chastises him and tells him he needs to repent. And it's a scathing letter, but in that dreams, visions, that realm of supernatural happenstance or circumstance, like we've seen this happening all throughout history. And then when you investigate the physiology of the body, the deeper you go into sleep, the more your predisposition towards a certain belief structure, that portion of your brain is put into park. And the portion of your brain that's responsible for desire, for intense emotional responses to things, the limbic system, the base part of your brain, is on overdrive. So you've got what seems like, if we're going to assume, thinking through the physiological aspect of dreaming, if we're going to assume that there is if we're assuming there is a God, then we're looking at, why would he create physiology this way? Well, the suspension of disbelief happens in the midst of a dream. Like, you believe things in a dream that are beyond reasonable, and you take them for granted in a dream, right? You don't question them. You just take them for granted in a dream. And just like God creates this physiological aspect of the human body to suspend disbelief and then speak in a way that faith is not even so much a choice or an action. It's just the nature of this. It's just the nature of the mind frame or the brain frame at that point. So, there's all kinds of interesting reasons why I would say, why are we interested in dreams? And, I just so thoroughly convinced that God speaks through dreams. And I'm so thoroughly convinced that the Reformed cessationist crowd are so thoroughly wrong in their approach. So, and I find their arguments so ridiculously weak. So anyway,
well, they're based in a modernistic.
They're based in
an argument against rationalism, modernism. Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the arguments against dream interpretation would be, or prophecy in general, would be the fallibility of prophecy, right? And so we would put the fallibility on the individual, not on the prophecy, right? And why do people get it wrong? Mm-hmm. To which that Reformed cessationist crowd would say, well, if it's prophecy, it's the very words of God, and so they can never be misinterpreted. And I would just go, like, I just want to say, just read the Bible. Like, the words of God can't be misinterpreted. Scripture is full of examples of people misinterpreting the words of God and misapplying the words of God. Like, where did you get that concept that the words of God couldn't be misinterpreted? Like, hello, the whole Old Testament is misinterpreted. Like, that's the whole point. There's it's all misinterpreted until Jesus shows up. So what?
You get yourself in some hot water here.
I know. I've just heard some of these guys say that, and like, people buy it hook, line, and sinker, and I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, what? You are misleading people.
Yeah.
And
we don't want to be that. We want to be people who lead you into a deeper walk with.
That's right. Exactly.
The Creator. So
and that's why we did just this. This last weekend we had our Healing the Wounded Heart seminar.
Right.
And so what was your take, Dad, on how? I thought it went pretty well. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought of the 3 of the 4 sessions were excellent. I didn't think mine went that well, but 3 of the 4.
That's right. 3 of the 4 sessions.
3 of the 4 sessions were excellent, and the other one limped along all right. But no, I really enjoyed Aaron and Teresa's dialogue and discussion on the practicalities of engaging in that kind of healing ministry that we were talking about, what it looks like, how it affects you. It was very well done. So they did a great job, and you did a great job. So you setting things up. So we had fun. We had fun. Yeah, it was Ray. I did fine. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you did great, Dad. So, yeah.
As my wife says, Josh and I talk over people's heads a lot of times.
That Aaron said the
out
same
there
thing.
in
My
the
wife said the same
ozone.
thing.
And then, but they were real practical, so we tried to give some background out there, and
We tried to
all
be kind of
around.
ethereal and mystical, and they were
Yes,
all
right,
practical. So
exactly.
it was a good, um, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the registration for that is still available. Actually, all the videos are now on the.
Oh, okay.
So you can still check out if you weren't able to attend, you can still register for it, um,
Well, I think you'll get a lot of
and you
good,
get access to
not
it.
just
Yeah,
good information, some good practices as well.
yeah, yeah. I thought so. So anyway, yeah, it was a good time. But he in terms of dreams, we didn't necessarily touch on this too much, but um, dreams and healing go hand in hand.
Yeah.
One of the words for to dream in Hebrew means to in the Old Testament to recover to health is what it means.
Mm.
And literally one of the words is related to the word for mirror, and
Mm.
the idea being the dream is kind of it's
The
showing
mirror
you
gives
something
you a
about
view of
yourself,
something
right?
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, something you weren't able to see before. uh, and so we just see so much of that functioning within the realm of dreams. So
Yeah.
wonderful to see everybody on here. I noticed people are commenting. Berta and Ray was giving you um, a bit of hassle on your verbiage, and and
Well, use that
Berta's
mug.
praying for Ray.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah,
But she won't. She didn't mind you praying for her.
yeah,
No.
yeah. That's right. That's
And
right.
Berta,
Great to see
use
Mary.
that mug wisely.
Yeah,
Use
yeah.
it
That's right.
wisely.
Great to see Annette jumping in, Deanna, Karen, everybody's jumping in. It's awesome to see Melissa. We're going to trust that Melissa hasn't disappeared, that she's still here because she's got the rainstorm going on. So wonderful to see everybody. So what do we got on for tonight, Dad?
Well, we have a couple of dreams.
We've noticed a couple have come up. If you have dreams, post your dreams in the comments for those of you that are new and don't know
We
the
have a couple
routine.
online here already, and then
Throw a question. You can throw questions up in the chat there, and we'll see about maybe bringing some people into the show. You guys might notice that my background is a little bit different tonight.
we did. We noticed.
Yes, I'm actually at home tonight. We've been
And no bugs are down there attacking you.
no, I'm not going downstairs. Let me tell you. Yeah, I'm not going down where the office used to be. No, we've been working on it. We're working on a video series, and so all the video equipment's preoccupied, and so that'll come out in the coming months with some retired pastors talking about responding to the call of God and people that finished the race in the sense of the vocational ministry call, and so anyway, we've been doing a series of interviews, so that'll come out in the coming months. But that means that all the video and everything like that's not set up like it normally is. So I am here at the house.
Oh, cool. Well, let's jump on this real quick because it's kind of
all right.
It gives us something to look at for a minute. So this is just a fragment of a dream, obviously, from Shonda.
Right.
She said she dreamed of white tigers laying down inside and outside of my house.
Yeah.
So the good things we can do when we hear something like that, we can apply a few things to it and then ask some questions.
Yes.
So some of the things we can apply are what we tend to know about tigers, especially, and so the unique part is they're white tigers.
Right.
So that's
which, if I remember right, white tigers are quite a bit larger than regular tigers.
And then
I think,
then they're laying both inside and outside of her house.
Yeah.
So the kinds of questions we would ask about this are. Go ahead.
How did you feel about the tigers? Were you concerned about them,
question.
Or were you like, oh, there's just tigers here?
Yeah.
Was the dream in color?
Yeah.
That's another important one.
Was it light or dark?
Light.
Daytime?
Yeah. What was the tenor or the feel of the dream? Was it tense and fearful? Was it light and fluffy? Was it neutral? Was the color bright and vibrant? Was the color grayscale? Was it just you looked and everything was in black and white? Do you just not remember the color? And like I said, peaceful and happy. It was in color.
Were you
And
the age that you are now? And is
yeah,
it the house that you actually live in?
yeah. Were you? Yeah, exactly. Were you the age you are now? Was it the house you lived in, or you do live in today? Because you can have lots of people will have a dream of a house. I'm back in the house I grew up in, or I'm in my grandparents'
Right.
house. Um, so, was it your house presently? Um, and so peaceful and happy. I'm assuming, Shonda, that you weren't concerned about the tigers being in the house. Um, and they were just were they laying down on any particular furniture, or were they just there? Um, and what other questions? I was this age. It wasn't in my present house.
Okay.
So was it in what was it in an old house, or was it just in a house that you knew was yours but you didn't recognize?
Or was it like the house that you grew up in?
Or yeah, was it like the house you
Yeah.
grew up in from a previous age? And I had another question and now I can't remember it. Um, oh yeah, when did you have the dream? How
So we're
long ago did you
asking
have the
these
dream?
questions to kind of help everybody work through how is it you would approach a dream? What kind of questions do you ask? That sort of thing. So
Knew it was mine but didn't recognize it. And we're asking these questions because um, I mean I don't track the amount of dreams that we've interpreted, but it's at this point in my life and in your life, in a way we've kind of been on the trajectory of dream interpretation from about the same
yeah,
basic
yeah,
times. I mean, you started a little bit earlier, but at this point it's way more than
there
um,
you go. Okay.
I way more dreams than we could ever even hope to count at this point, right? So my point,
Multiple thousands of dreams. Yes.
yes.
Let's call it that.
So my point in saying that is that um, there's certain bits of information that are germane to every dream.
Yeah.
Okay, Shonda says I felt proud.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. So the bits of information that we're looking for in a dream are the things that we're asking there. Is okay, it's your house. So sometimes we understand that someone has a dream and they are in their childhood house,
Hmm.
and that's a very common thing, and
Right.
that tells us that has to do there's things related to their childhood or the upbringing,
Yeah. Either
because
good
they're
or
either good or bad,
things that
yeah,
need to be healed.
or
Yeah.
neutral, yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't
Right.
no, or just they are.
Right.
They could be the house of my grandparents.
Right.
Could talk about generational things, um, or if it's your present house, it could talk about things that are going on in your life right now. Um, and okay, so Shonda, you felt proud that the tigers were in your house. Is that what? Um, I think that's what Shonda's saying.
I would have to imagine there's not that much
Yeah,
activity in the dream. So yeah.
yeah. And so we're asking that, and we recognize that there's a lot of different variations on color. Um, and so we ask questions like what kind
Yeah.
of color was in the dream, because that really helps us fill out what actually happened in the dream.
Yeah.
And then there are times where someone could see a horrifying dragon and be perfectly fine with it, and there's
Mhm.
times where they could see a little tiny bunny and be totally scared of it, right? We had a dream last week where someone did see a bunny that was getting in the way of things, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so we have to ask, well, what was your what was intimated in the dream by um, these particular things? So we're trying to fill out. Basically, we're asking questions based on how many dreams we've interpreted, how many times we've seen the various different things kind of repeat themselves. So I'm clarifying for myself so I can go, okay, it's this kind of dream. Okay, it was this kind of thing, because we've seen it happen so many different ways. So basically, with this one, we'll just fill it out a little bit. Shonda is in her house. She sees white. She thinks they're Siberian tigers, laying down inside and outside of the house. She's happy. She's joyful. She's peaceful. She didn't recognize the house, but she knew it was hers. And they're all lying on the floor. And she was proud that she had all these lions there. So that's
Tigers.
essentially, yeah,
Tigers.
tigers, yeah, essentially. So, do you want to take a stab at it first, Dad? share a thought or two?
Well, I like that the dream in the dream that she's at peace with it,
Yeah.
and not in a negative way. Um, so tigers, I'm trying to think tigers. I mean, tigers. We always think of cats and tigers as kind of more negative, but not necessarily always are they negative. They can have positive indications. So yeah, I don't know. You give it a whirl. I'm kind of
Well, here's the thing. Um, how do we? You're always trying to figure out how do you communicate.
yeah.
Here's part of the process of dream interpretation is going from. Um,
Communicating things in a nice way.
well, no, it's not.
Positive,
It's not.
not just
No,
not that it's negative, but
I'm not that. It's taking what because dream interpretation is an intuitive. Um, it is a function of our intuition
mhm,
uh, on a spiritual plane. We'll say
right.
well, maybe we'll say it like that. And so intuition is not something that is naturally easy to communicate. Why do I feel the way that I feel
Mm,
about something? I just know that I feel that way. So how do I communicate what I feel about that? So I'm thinking about how to communicate it is I'm thinking about how I can feel something about the dream, but now I need to pull the words out of
mm,
that and then communicate it. And so that's part of the process of dream interpretation. Um, so there's a couple different things about the dream is obviously the tigers are a big thing. The fact that it is your house, so when it's in your house it has to do with you. This is talking about your life. This is talking about things that are going on presently. And dreams do a couple different things in our lives. There's a number of different things dreams can do. They can help us understand how to make decisions. They can help us recognize blind spots. They can help us see what our gift and our call is. They can do things like that. And so a dream like this is pointing out a blind spot.
yeah.
This is pointing out something where because tigers are animals that hide and stalk and then attack um, in the least suspected moment. And so this a dream like this is pointing out a blind spot. There's a number of things lying around your life, right? The white tiger um, that have a tendency to and like a tiger would lash out when they're very territorial animals, and they're they hunt and kill and they fight amongst themselves to get meat and all this kind of stuff. And so what you see is there is it's almost like um, this way of relating to others. Um, Tigers is not a pet; it's an untamed animal. Yeah,
Right.
there's a way of relating to others that can be off-putting or difficult or hard to welcome other people in. Right, but there's a whole bunch of tigers in there; it's hard to get other people into your house. And so the dream's pointing out a blind spot that's saying some of the difficulties in relationships that you've seen um, aren't just stemming because of other people, but there's some stuff in your own house that needs to be dealt with. There's some stuff that's lying around that needs to be dealt with, and because one of um, the direct feelings connected with the dream is I was proud that they were all there. Is I think the dream's pointing out that there's some blind spots as it relates to pride, and there's a lot of things in my house, right, that oh, I take pride in all of these things. And so it's one thing to take pride in an accomplishment, it's another thing to take pride in um, an idiosyncratic activity like a tiger would represent, how I relate to others, how my life is presented to others. It makes it very difficult for people to get in to the house because there's tigers everywhere, and it makes it very difficult for people to feel safe around the house. And so the dreams pointing out blind spots in your own life, that's saying there's some things that have been held on to, that it's, and the reason a dream it would come is, look, the dream's pointing out, hey, there's some things you need to let go of. There's some things we need to clean out of the house. There's some relational styles. There's some ways of welcoming other people in. Um, there's some things that need to be uh, looked at and investigated. Why is it difficult to get people in here? Why are people feel um, uh, you know that maybe it's difficult to relate to me sometimes? Why do I feel like it's difficult to get people into my life and to welcome people in and to trust people and these
What
kind
hinders
of things?
people from getting
What
in?
hinders
What they're
people from
doing,
getting
right?
in? Yeah. Yeah, and what hinders me from being able to relate to other people. And so a dream like that, it's a wonderful dream because it points out, like what I said earlier, that one of the terms that we find in the Old Testament for dreams is um, uh, a mirror. And a dream can be a mirror that helps us see back into our heart, so we can look at the things, and oftentimes that the the house itself represents the state of our heart, the state of our life, so to speak. And so a dream like that would help me see, oh, I have some things I need to look at and investigate and deal with. And yeah, so Mary says, and the tigers are outside too. Yeah,
Right.
meaning that it's difficult for people to get in.
Right.
Territorial, predatory animals hide and attack when they least expect it. And I think probably one of the undercurrents that's being pointed out is pride. Pride may be one of the root causes of difficult relational patterns. And so, Shonda, that's that. I mean, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say all that to say it sounds so negative, uh, and because it's not really negative. It's the care and mercy of God to reveal the things that we're struggling with in our life. To say, this is kind of dream that says, I've been asking certain questions about my life,
Right. Or
right?
you wouldn't
That's
have
one.
the dream.
Or I
Yeah.
wouldn't have the dream. Yeah, I've been
Right.
asking certain questions about my life. Why, whether it's something like, why has it been so difficult to welcome people into my life, or why has it been so difficult to trust other people? And the dream comes and it goes, oh, actually, there's some stuff in my house I need to deal with. So, so Shonda, would bless you, especially as you're processing through some deep things,
Yeah.
and some probably maybe family patterns and things like that you're starting to investigate and look at. And so we just bless you as you're starting to look at those things, that you'd have insight, you'd have wisdom. How do I address these things? How do I look at my attitudes and my opinions, this kind of stuff, and then make the changes to be the kind of person that I know that I want to be. So we bless that journey. We bless that, Shonda, that you'd be able to find that, just that place uh, where you're on the highway, rather than feeling like you're taking all the surface streets and it takes so much longer to get to the place that you want to be. And so we just bless you that you'd find your way onto the highway, and you're like, oh, it's like there's ages past in your life where the highway has been much easier and it's been difficult to find the highway again. So we just bless you to find the highway again.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to make it to the places that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
Annette says she had a dream she named Pink. I dreamed I looked in a mirror and I was head to toe dressed in pink, and my hair was wild and pink. I loved it. And of course she loved it. And
Yeah.
and so pink represents.
Well, let's just ask questions first,
Yes.
okay? Right? Because pink, you've got both sides of what pink could represent.
You do.
Yeah, pink could represent a number of different things. And so what was but Annette, what's it mean? Annette, the only way I'm going to tell you what it means.
Why don't we make Annette tell us what it means?
What? No. Let's get Annette to come into the show.
Oh, she's probably in her jammies again. Look what you're doing to her. The poor woman's going to be traumatized again.
Sorry,
Yet
Annette.
again.
Yeah, I don't think a week can go by where I don't reference that. It just means I like Annette so much. That's why. No. What were you dressed in? That's what I want to know, right? So you were dressed in pink, but was it like, because like Ray says childlike, fun, playing, and Annette says childishness, bad. It could be both, right? Like that's where we have to look at. Okay, I could go both ways with this. So yeah. So this is the thing. So was she dressed? So it's just a pink T-shirt and some pink pants. Is that it, or just you only saw the pink T-shirt? Because that's different. Because if she's wearing like a dress that maybe Shirley Temple would wear, right? As opposed to that was a way back reference.
That was a way back reference.
I know. Yeah, I used to love those movies when I was growing up. The Shirley
Yeah.
Temple movies. I still actually we watched some with the kids. They like them. That makes me happy. And yeah, pink PJs, Ray. That's right. Pink army fatigues. Yes, yeah. We're all picturing Annette in various different weird outfits. So a pink shirt. But if she's in like a dress that a little girl might wear, that's a little bit different, right? So we look at that. But if she's just wearing a pink shirt, that's not
Well, because she said she
abnormal.
was dressed head to toe in pink, so that's why you.
Yeah.
What else was there? Yes.
What else was there? Yes. I only noticed the pink shirt, but I knew my pants and shoes, they were pink. My skin was almost pink from all the pink. Yeah. Okay, that's enough of the emojis, and that's like overkill right there. All right. You've already said pink enough. We don't need all the emojis too. All right. And so that's really good information, because again, we look at what it was that she was dressed in, and
But I love a
the
good
dream's right there.
emoji.
Yeah, that's true. No, her emoji game is on point with this dream for sure.
Yeah.
Her hair is wild and pink. She loved it. Yeah. And right. So a dream like this, Annette, you're getting in touch with your emotions, and you are becoming not childish, but childlike. And so you're getting in touch with your emotions, and looking in the mirror in the dream, right? You're reflecting on your emotions, and you're starting to recognize there's nothing wrong with these things, right? There's nothing wrong with my emotions. My emotions are good. I can love my emotions. I can be happy with
let
my
them get a little
emotions.
bit wild.
I can even let them get a little bit wild. I can even rejoice a little bit.
Yeah.
And my emotions aren't bad. My emotions are actually good. And so that's the whole dream. That's the context of the dream. Is the Lord showing you, Annette, I love your emotions, and I love that you're coming into grips with how much you know you can trust and love your own emotions. And in that is this childlike wonder about who you are and who you're becoming. But one of the clues to that is, what is she dressed in? Because if she's dressed in something that a little kid would dress in, right? She got a pink lollipop, and that's being childish, right? So we need to get that extra information in there. So you go wild, Annette Garrison. That's right, Karen. That's right. Yeah, not so wild that you jump on a dream show when you're in your pajamas, but you go a little bit wild.
Well, if you have pink pajamas, that's
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
You do that.
Yes, that's right. That's a great dream. Yeah.
And
So
your hair can be a little wild if you want it to be. We don't.
yeah, that's right. That's right. And well, part of the hair being wild too is you're not afraid to show it off.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I can actually be me, and I can be okay. I can brazenly be me. I don't have to pretend I'm someone else. Yeah.
I think she likes it.
I
The
think she
emojis
does.
are looking there like she's good.
Is laughing and crying at the same time. So that's good. Yeah.
She's only gonna speak through emojis now. You know that.
Yeah, Annette, I'm learning to completely be comfortable in my own skin. Yeah, and you're coming to grips with that. And it's just a beautiful thing that the Lord comes along and gives you these little snapshots. And Annette, you and I have chatted a little bit about your history, and so it's wonderful. The Lord's just so encouraging to go, hey, I love who you're becoming. That's just a beautiful thing. Yeah. What do we got?
She had this dream a few weeks ago. Berta did.
Okay.
She calls it daycare. I dreamed I was back in the daycare with the same staff and kids. The director told me to leave the babies and go to the toddler room. One of the children asked me to read a story about animals. The animals came out of the book and sat by a child. The lion came and laid down on my right side. I recognized each child and staff member.
What? Okay, so first question is, you said you're back in the daycare. So is this a daycare, Berta, that you are normally involved in? Or was it a daycare you went to when you were a little child? Um, and was it, yeah, that's a good question. Karen asks, was the lion friendly? That's a good question. Um, lions and tigers. If Annette's dream would have had bears, we'd be so set.
Yeah.
But she didn't have bears. Lions and tigers and pink. Oh
She
my.
might have had like teddy
Yeah.
bears on her
Maybe.
shirt or
Yeah, yeah.
something. Your t-shirt could have teddy bears.
Yeah. Was the lion friendly? What's the was the daycare like is it like a church daycare? Is it a daycare you volunteer at? Is it an old daycare you went to? Just know you were out of daycare and you went back. Worked in it for 8 years. Okay, the lion was very friendly. So, and she said she had a few weeks ago. Okay, so you're back in the daycare with the same staff and kids, and okay, it dawns on me. The children said, or the director says, you're no longer with the babies, you're with the toddlers. I love that. I love when a director in a dream says something, especially something so encouraging like that. And yeah, so let's see, the YMCA in Portland, Maine. Yeah, so there's an upgrade.
Yeah.
And you're no longer dealing with spiritual babies. Now you're dealing with people that are starting to grow in their faith. And
have the ability to hear.
And have the ability to hear and begin and process what's being said. Yes. This is the kind of dream, Berta, that you should probably send to your pastors. And partly because I know your pastors, I know your church well. But it's saying that things are going from infant stage to toddler stage. Maturation is happening, and you've been sowing into that. And so, because you're not the baby moving to a toddler. You're the person you're coming to a place where I am teaching and helping people who are more advanced, going from spiritual infants to toddlers. And I love that you read a story about animals. The lion comes down and lays by your right side. So let's just saying, as you tell people the stories, Jesus is going to come and walk alongside you. So, that was Casey Reeves. How do I send a description that is about 125 words?
Can you just copy and paste it into the?
Can you? I think. Let's see.
You might have
not. Are the comment? There might. Yeah. Just Casey. Just put multiple comments. And because maybe the Casey's on YouTube, maybe I'm not sure if there's what the word limit is or the character limit is on YouTube comments. Just put it in multiple comments and we can bring it up that way. So yeah, it's a great dream, Berta. It just says that
use emojis.
Yeah, use emojis in that. Have you ever seen the emoji Bible thing?
No, I have not.
No, I know, it's pretty funny. Yeah, use emojis. So yeah, there's spiritual progress happening, and you're being used to to help see that happen.
Yeah.
What do you think about Berta's dream? You have anything to add to that, Dad? I feel like there's something else that can be pulled out of it.
Well, the animals coming out and
right,
hanging around, that it speaks to, so part of, and this is actually, it's kind of funny because this is what I was talking about this weekend, is the promise of the age to come is that there will be harmony in creation, and that all things will
that's right,
live as they're supposed to. And this is a reflection of the animals come out of the book, and they just and they become alive. Creation becomes alive, but it becomes alive in a kingdom of God sort of a way, where there's peace and there's the lion just comes and lays by her right side.
Right.
It's there's peace.
Yeah.
It's not scary.
Right. That's right. And that I've met Berta many times, so you can be very jealous. Yes, everybody should want to meet Berta. So that's very true. What else we got? We got
we have
15
Deborah.
minutes.
We have Deborah. She has sent her dream again. So let's.
Deborah who?
Deborah Reed.
Deborah Reed. Has she been on?
Well, she just posted her dream. So I'm.
Oh yeah, I see. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
So she had posted this dream last week too. So, so on August 17th this year, oops, let me get that out of there. I had a dream that myself and my younger daughter Hannah were in my apartment. She's sitting next to an open window, I'm guessing, and I'm standing.
Yeah, just before you go, just clarify, Deborah, for us. She is sitting next to an open. Is it an open window or door? Whatever it is, just let us know. And I'm standing. Yeah.
I can tell there's a bit of tension between us. Short time later, a man walks by the window, so it's the window, and she and I look at each other, and I can tell we are thinking the same thing, that he's trouble.
I leave the room. Thing or the same thing?
The same thing. That he's trouble. I leave the room and go to the outer door to lock it, but the man is standing there with a bag in his hand. So I stretch out my arm to lock the door and shut it, but he opens the door and I tell him to leave, but he pushes his way in. I yell to my daughter to call the police. Then I wake up. Thank you.
Right. How old is Hannah? How old is your daughter in the dream? Is Hannah normal age? And I'm assuming Hannah is your actual youngest daughter. And is she's sitting next to an open window? So is she looking out the window? Is she looking at you? Could you describe why? Did you know why there was tension between you, or there just was tension between you? And the man, 21, yes, normal age. Yes, she's my youngest daughter. Okay. Did you recognize the man at all? I'm assuming no. And when
the strange
man comes, does Hannah respond to you yelling, "Call the police," or is she still sitting by the window? Is she kind of like, because it looks like you guys are kind of in sync. She's just sitting next to the window, and I had no idea why there was tension.
So,
go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, this is one of those dreams where we really want to know if it's light in the area, dark, kind of just normal. Is it darker? Is it sepia tones? Do we have color? I don't hear.
Yeah, color, grayscale. I can't see her. I just tell her, right? And so you don't know if she responds or not. You just tell her. And black and white. Yeah, what's the color and what's the feel? I'm assuming the feel is because you start with tension.
No color. Yeah, I didn't think
no color. Yeah, no color at all. As in You looked and went, man, there's no color in this dream at all, or you just don't remember the color. Which one is it? Because those are two different things. Um, so if you specifically thought in the dream, there's no color in this dream. Um,
Normal.
it's not really dark, just a normal apartment. Obviously, there's tension and a little bit of fear in the sense of the sky's going to get in. But yeah, I'm wondering that color thing because that's actually a big deal. If you looked and it's like there is no color in this dream, or if you're just saying I don't remember what the color was. So can you clarify that, Deborah? You got any Dad thoughts to start off with?
Yeah, fear. That's kind of what I assumed in this dream, because this dream is based on fear. So I would call this a fear dream, no matter what.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
And you just said that it is that's
There's
what's
fear
going
in the
on in
dream.
there,
Yeah.
right?
How do we know a dream is a fear dream? Because there's fear in the dream.
There's fear in the dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have okay. So no color.
No color that she can recall. Okay.
Yeah. So why do we get fear dreams? First of all, almost never fear doesn't come from God.
Right.
And so if we're having a fear dream, it's
fear in the sense of reverence and awe.
Yes.
That's different than the kind of fear that says someone is going to break into my house and do something bad.
Yeah.
Those are very different experiences. So we'll just clarify. There is fear when it comes to God, but in the awe and reverential, holy moly, this guy's powerful.
Okay, so not so much a warning as it is more of a dream that exposes something that that has fear associated with it. So if the fear is that you and your daughter are growing more distant, and that there are things getting between you, things that will separate you and pull you away from each other, then that's something that's there trying to worm its way into your heart. And
right.
And so if it's not so much a warning, you can call it a warning, but I would call it more of an exposing of something that's trying to find its way in to bring separation between you, because there's tension between the two of you. You don't even know why.
Yeah. And
then somebody tries to come and pull you to impact you in the midst of all of this. So it's just fear, separation, fear compounding itself. And if I looked at that and I said to you, I try not to even really interpret these so much as to say, first of all, say no. And secondly, address anything that gets in the way. And third, just pray.
Yeah. I mean, that's great, Dad. It's the kind of dream that is just that, saying.
Yeah, that's saying she's saying that's actually happening between us. So
yeah. And the response is not, so it's not a warning saying that be careful because someone's out to get you and the enemy's trying to destroy your relationship. That's not what it's saying. That's why my dad says it's not a warning dream. It's saying fear is trying to exert its control over how you two will relate to each other.
Exactly.
And the dream's about you. It's not about Hannah.
Right.
Fear is trying to exert its control over how you will relate to your daughter. Yeah. And so that's what's happening in this dream. So it's exposing the fact that, and like I just want to go into our Healing the Wounded Heart course, going back to why does fear exist? Where does fear come from? And how do we respond? And, things like that is, in a situation like this, Hannah is someone that Deborah cares deeply about, obviously, as her child, right? Well, if we have some, we've had some difficult family patterns in the past, or broken relationships, that kind of stuff, maybe broken mother-daughter relationships, father-daughter relationships, mother-son, father-son, that kind of stuff. then the fear can kind of be this, oh no, that's happening again,
Yeah.
right? Something like that. It could be something like that. These relational styles that we learn, but we don't want. So you have a dream that goes, actually, we're going to expose the fear because it's fear that's trying to say, oh, look, it's going to happen all over again. And so then I can go, okay, well, how do I, as a parent, relate to my daughter in a way that is healthy, holy, and whole, um, rather than how do I respond in fear and try and cling and control? Because that's what fear does. Usually fear tries to use anger to exert control, and or fear tries to use maybe uh, shame to exert control. Fear tries to use things to exert control so that I won't experience the thing I'm afraid of having been experienced. Right? We're not even talking about the dream anymore. We're just talking about how people relate and how people respond to fear. You can use anger to control the relationship, shame to control the relationship, guilt to control the relationship, so that I won't lose it. And so what you do with a dream like this is you go, okay, how am I responding in fear to what to
The
the
separation that's
the
happening.
separation that's happening, and how do I take that to God and say, I don't want to be this way with
Yeah.
my daughter because I've seen other people be that way with their kids and I'm
Yeah.
not that kind of person. And so that's the part where you bring this to the Lord and you say, heal my heart is breaking, heal my heart, because I want to relate in a healthy and whole way as a mother to a daughter that builds up Hannah. And like, at some level there is a natural separation that happens there, and there's a difference in relationship that happens as your child changes and matures, and your relationship can mature. And obviously you don't want to go into a fear-based pattern, but into how do I release and bless but also maintain a sense of intimacy and closeness. So I can totally resonate with that. But that's exactly just bringing that to the Lord. I can
Yeah.
feel this fear creeping in, and I don't want to be that. I don't want that to be the thing that dictates how we relate to each other. So, how do I bless and release, but also relate in a way that maintains that fondness? So,
Yeah. It's good.
it's a great dream. I mean, it's not an easy thing. I mean, Deborah, I really feel for you. It's not an easy thing to go through. Uh, but
But the encouraging thing is that you are having that dream.
yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah,
and that says, okay, we can now see what's going on
yeah.
to a better extent than we could before.
Well,
And
once the plans of fear are exposed,
yeah, exactly.
like, well, we've got it out here now.
Yeah.
Like,
So
well, all
so
we
now
have
I
to
can
do now
actually
is
do
to
something about it. Yeah.
to thwart the plans.
Right.
I just put a counteroffensive in play,
Right.
right? Like now I know the plans. Okay.
So fear
Okay.
separates
Yeah.
and love draws together.
Yeah, that's right.
And when and love is, here's the thing about love. It's not always received immediately.
Oh, like Dad, you and I could go for days talking about when I was 21. Oh my goodness. Like
Let's
I
not
was
talk
like,
about that.
let's not talk about that. I was like, get out of my life.
Yeah.
And it was brutal
Yeah.
on both of my parents at that point.
Yeah.
And there was it was just not like, so I can just totally, I could just feel it for Deborah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Deborah, we just bless you with, first of all, with peace over where you are in life and where your daughter is.
Yeah.
That you would have vision and wisdom in both how to pray and how to walk in the coming days, weeks, months, as and we invite healing into the process of of your relationship, because the one who heals is the one who walks with you, and his passion, his desire, when he comes, healing happens. So we welcome you, Jesus, to walk in the middle of this relationship, whether they always see it or not, whether Hannah is seeing it or not. We welcome you to walk in the middle of all that and bring your peace, bring your
Yeah.
presence, and bring healing that this mother and daughter might stand together in the years to come and say, we were able to find our way through it because Jesus took us through it. And
Yeah.
even though we didn't understand it, something amazing happened. So we welcome you, Holy Spirit, to breathe on their relationship.
That's right.
From top to bottom and restructure it from with your loving care.
That's right. Before we're just at an hour, but I just want to bring this stream up quickly because it won't take long.
Okay, because I don't think we're going to be able to get to Casey's.
Well, that's what I was going to do. I want to bring Casey's up.
She's got 5 sections on it.
I know that, but okay. it's not. It's
yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's not going to take long to do.
No, so okay. We'll go through this. I'll read it and you give some thoughts because this is a vision. This isn't a dream. Okay. Mm-hmm. I was just going through it as you were kind of talking with Deborah there. I was at the bottom of the ocean. I felt fine, hanging out by myself on the floor of the ocean. I don't even have any questions about this one.
No.
Hanging out by myself on the floor of the ocean. I felt the presence of God coming down to me. I saw flashes of pictures that I don't remember, but I do know that as he got closer, the pictures he was showing me got more and more wonderful. Mm-hmm. He stopped right above me, and then he showed me something wonderful about my husband. I was so filled with joy that I almost couldn't contain myself. Mm-hmm. Then he started to pursue me. I was almost resistant because he'd done so much already, but then I was flooded with the feeling of being known, loved, safe, joy, etc. I wanted to wake up, but he wouldn't let me wake up until I had opened my eyes wide and covered my mouth. It was something he wanted me to acknowledge before he would allow me to wake up. Once I did, I woke up praising Jesus' name at the top of my voice in the middle of the night. I got to share with my kids and my husband because I woke them all up.
That's way cool.
Isn't that is incredible?
Yeah.
So, Dad, what just, I mean, it's like I said,
there's
not a whole lot to it. Yeah. I mean, there is.
You want to walk in the deep things of God, you just have to have gratitude. And the gratitude is amazing. That's a big part of it. But he's calling you into a time of gratitude, and that is going to break things loose in your life, but not just your life, into your family's life. There are some things he has for your husband that he's never even imagined. And as you walk in that ability to just thank him, first of all, thank him for your husband and thank him for so many other things, just that gratitude towards that, it's going to break something loose that is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
It's just going to blow your mind.
And you're saying that because she wakes up praising Jesus' name.
Right.
She wakes up in gratitude over all the things that he's just done.
Well, and not just that, as he comes to her, the thing that is stirred up is gratitude.
Yeah.
If you see that, he said, she said, where was that? Flashes I don't remember. Then she said, I do know as he got closer, the pictures you're showing me got more and more wonderful. He stopped right above me, and then he showed me something wonderful about my husband. And this is the thing. I was so filled with joy that I almost couldn't contain myself. Then he started to pursue me. I was, where was it? What did she say? She had to say something. Where was that? I was, there was something
I had to open my eyes wide. Yeah.
So you had to be able to see, you had to be able to open your mouth.
Cover
your mouth,
to be able to see it.
You had to see it, and then acknowledge it. And so there's this place of deep gratitude in the deep things of God within your marriage and your family that he's stirring up, and he's inviting you into something that is transformative. Yeah.
And like Annette said, I could even interpret that one.
Where's the
Karen,
emoji?
and the great emoji game on that one. And Karen, amazing encounter with Jesus.
Yes.
Ray, it sounds like an encounter. Yeah, that was what we would call it, an encounter. Right. There was one or two things I was going to point out that as she's hanging out in this deep place is when God comes to her. Right. This deep place where she's seeking him. She's setting time aside. She covers her mouth, right? So this place of silence
Yeah.
before the Lord. And as he draws near, because she's put herself in the place
Right.
to be wooed, this is also the awakening of a call to prophesy. Because the closer he comes, the more clarity she gets, right?
True.
And specifically then, of course, about her family. But
Well,
I
it
would
starts
hazard
there.
a
It always
guess-
starts in the
yeah,
house.
It always starts in the house. Yeah. And let's see. And part of the challenge, Casey, in the season of growth is, and this is where gratitude comes in, is I don't, like, he's already done so much, I don't deserve anymore, right? Which is this one here. That's where gratitude comes in. Because here's the thing, okay? And this isn't necessarily in the dream, but when God comes close, okay, stop thinking about yourself and stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about him. And I read this quote recently where it said, when you're attempting to talk with God, don't tell him your problems, just offer him praise. And it's like, okay, because you're making about him. You're making it about him and not about you, right?
Yeah.
In this one of the things that the Lord's showing you is when you make it about you, all of a sudden you go, I don't know if I can take this. I don't know. I already have so much. This is too much. But when you make it about him, which is the gratitude thing, you're full of joy. I'm known. I'm loved. This is immense. This is powerful, right? When we when we get our eyes off of ourselves and we get our eyes on him, everything starts to shift in that place, especially from that perspective of being called into prophetic ministry.
Yeah.
And I think there's a season of looking with wonder. Like, it reminds me of 1 John 3:1. Look with wonder at the depth of the Father's marvelous love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in the Passion Translation. So there's a season of looking with wonder, but as all prophetic people have to do, we got to learn to shut up. Closing the mouth.
Yeah.
Closing the mouth and acknowledge, and like my dad said, this deep acknowledgement of how fond the Lord is of you and your family and your husband. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, blessings on you.
Yes. Yeah, Casey, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. May that just go deeper and deeper as the dream, as the encounter was. It just may take you into the deep places of God, both you and your family, that they would all walk in that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
okay.
We've come to an end here, Josh.
We have. Yep.
Oh, look, Ray is learning emojis. It's good.
Well done, Ray. Yeah. Ray's doing a really good job.
Yes. She's going to beat him Annette on the emojis.
Yeah, this is literally my favorite comment of the whole night. I love that comment, Annette. I could even interpret that one. Annette, you could interpret far more than you give yourself credit for. So,
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
you want to pray over the people, Pops?
Sure. We just ask the Lord to bless you and keep you, that his face will shine upon you, that you'll know his peace and his presence, that you'll know him in the night seasons and in your waking moments, that you will find a deepening of his presence and his peace in your heart and your life, and that you might be able to express that to others as you walk through this world. And we ask that in his name. Man.
Amen.
Man, we will see you guys next time.
That's right. Until next week.